Welcome back, everyone. Champions League night. Spurs away in Germany against Frankfurt. We drew 0-0. It's been interesting listening to, well, looking at feedback online, immediate reaction, and it seems that there's the usual, basically. It's a third of the fans seem to be saying, back Conte, you're crazy if you want him out, yada, yada, yada. The other third of the fans are saying 3-5-2, 4-5-1, you know, it's change of tactics, change of formations, okay. And then you've got the final third that are just, get rid of this guy, Conte out. I've had enough of him. Don't want him at the club. So it's a very split opinion. Personally, for me, we got a point away from home and we're second in the Champions League group. It's moving along in good fashion. Yeah, of course, the football could be better, but I thought the first half we were really good. Second half, I thought a lot of players didn't step up. Just poor performances in that final third mainly. Other than that, I mean, did you have a different take on it at all, Nick?
No, I think you're right. I think we started well. We had so many chances, I think, in a different game. And like you said, next week, I think we absolutely batter them. I don't see how we don't. You know, we have the home crowd, we have the fans on our side. Hey, look, it was rocking in there. We haven't won away from home in 6 games in the Champions League or in Europe. So, look, it's we've stopped that. We're second in the group, like you said, a bit like the league, right? We're third in the league. We're second in the group. It's in our hands, but everyone wants to go on a meltdown.
Well, it's split. There's a split. There's like 3 different camps: Conte in camp, the Conte out camp, and the change the tactics and strategy camp. So it's a real mixed bag of fans. So,
but we can't change the tactics because we don't have the players. I don't think.
Oh, you mean for it to be effective?
Yeah. We can change it, obviously, but for it to be effective, I don't know.
My personal opinion is you change the tactics, you improve one thing, you weaken something else.
Yeah.
It's difficult because we're in. Do you know what? We are caught in 2 worlds that don't align. You've got the project world where you have a 3, 4, 5 year plan and it takes time.
Yep.
And you have a project manager that comes in, a so-called project manager, someone that does these, you know, like Poch, or what Arteta's trying to do at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Or what Ten Hag is going to try and do at Man United. And you give them 3, 4 years. Or you go for the Chelsea, Man City, instant, right, get that player, put him in, 1, 2 years, bang. I feel we have the manager for the instant, but our behaviour in the transfer market is for the project.
Yeah.
So this is where it doesn't align. And then this is what we're seeing on the football pitch. We're seeing 2 different worlds collide. The project world and the instant world is trying to work as one. Because you've got Kane and Son that haven't got another 3, 4 years for a project.
Yeah.
But then you don't buy players like Spence and
Udogie
and Longley and Pape Sarr for the future, and you don't keep players like Brian Hill and Cess at the club. So I'm so confused with what Spurs are trying to do right now that I understand why these performances are what they are. I get it. But fans, I don't know how they feel. I think, and that's why there's a split. You've got the ones that demand it now. They're the Conte out because the football, they don't like watching it. Yet there's no mention about the players and maybe their quality. Then you've got that middle ground, which is kind of what I've said. Give it time. But then I don't know if time's going to work because we're not behaving. The Conte's not a project guy. And Kane and Son aren't going to wait 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other group. Just change the strategy, change the tactics. Well, why? The players are the same. You're not going to make Eric Dyer suddenly be a possession-based football player. You're not going to make Cess a really good possession-based football player. You're not going to make Emerson good. You're not going to make Doherty a tiki-taka player. You're not going to suddenly make Bentancur and Højbjerg, Iniesta and Xavi. So, I don't know, Barry, Nick, Ranjit. I think there's two different worlds that are just colliding, and either that's part of the process, or something's not right at Spurs. Something is actually just not quite working, or it's just one massive overreaction. Relax, you know. There's a lot going on. It's not one thing. It's layers and layers and layers.
Yeah, and I think you're right, because I think we don't know. I think we don't know what we're trying to do, and I think that's the issue. There is no identity. We don't know. You know, manager number 14, and we still don't know how we're supposed to be playing. And that is the biggest issue, I think.
I'm laughing because your chair sank low. For the first time, I'm taller than you. There you go.
There you go. Right, let's get some guests on. Let's get some post-match fan reaction, and let's see what you have to say. The link is in the community section on YouTube. For those that are subscribed, if you haven't, please subscribe, please like, and please comment as you keep as you do. We want to hear your thoughts. And the first person that's coming on, you know him, and he's live. It's KPV.
Hello,
how you doing, KPV?
Back. Good.
You're back. Well, where have you been?
I don't know. I've just been chilling and watching the football, and yeah, I'm back anyway. But I'm back on the channel, but I don't know what happened on Friday or something. There must have been some little connection problems on this channel.
I don't know, Carl. I wasn't here. I wasn't here, but I am here now. So, Carl, give us your thoughts on the game.
I thought we played brilliant first half. We were all over them. Like, we were creating chances. Like, Son should have put us 1-0 up there. Like, I thought we had a brilliant first half. Like, we should have been 1-0 up by then. And I don't know how he missed that chance. He only scores bangers. But I guess they just put him off. But, yeah, all overall, I thought we had a brilliant first half, and second half just didn't work out. Like, I don't understand why Conte didn't bring on Spence, and Brian Hill comes on. Like, I don't think none of the fans wanted him to come on. Hasn't worked out for him.
KPV, is it maybe is it maybe because Spence isn't his signing, so he didn't really want him, and is it because Brian Hill was the only attacking option we had on the bench? All I saw was a lot of defenders on the bench and one attacker.
Yeah, it's probably that, what you just said, because he's not Conte signing, as you've said, during the window. He's not. I don't know why. But we needed a home talent, because that's what maybe the club wanted, the homegrown players. That's what we needed. But I don't understand why Conte just doesn't like him. He's probably said because maybe he's not ready. Like, just give the guy a chance, man. Like, give him a chance to start. Emerson Royale's not good, but he had his best performance tonight. But yeah, like, I don't know why Conte doesn't trust Spence. But
if Spence played tonight, would we have won the game?
Yeah, I think we probably would have won a game if he was starting, but maybe he's not ready yet. But maybe there's something not working behind the scenes, probably. That's probably why. But he will start soon enough. If Emerson Royale does get injured, then he's going to have to start. But Doherty's just come back from an injury, but maybe Doherty might start. But I don't think that's going to happen. Why have we only got Emerson Royale and Doherty as the wing backs and Spence doesn't start? What is wrong with the boss? Give Spence a chance. Yeah, Jesus.
Kyle, Kyle, thinking ahead to the weekend and what you're saying, do you think that we start with Perisic on the right and Cess on the left against Brighton, or what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Doherty starts, or who would you like to start?
I think I'd probably say Perisic, obviously, because from experience, he's won what there is to win. But I'd go Perisic. Like, I know people saying he hasn't settled in well, but for me, he has settled in. Like, we're still waiting for him to score that first goal. Bentancur has, but we just need him to score. Like, Brighton away, we won at theirs earlier this year already. So, but Brighton away, they're doing quite well. They got a point at Liverpool. But yeah, Trossard, man, like hat trick against Liverpool. What a better ground than to score your first hat trick. But I know we're probably you need to watch out for him. But yeah, I think, but I'd probably say start Perisic and Sessegnon as the fullbacks. But a 3-5-2 is what I want to start, not a 3-4-3. I know Conte says that's probably his best, but us as fans don't want that. Us as fans have had enough of that. 3-5-2 is more better. Then we can start smashing teams apart as we were towards the end of last season. But
why is it better, Carl? Why is it better?
The reason why I think it's better is because we can just go on a counter-attack, attack other teams, and yeah, that's probably why I think it's best. I don't know what else.
We counter-attack now, Carl.
I don't know what else to say. Like, that's all I can say.
Carl, and this is my question tonight. If someone wants to mention 3-5-2, tell me what is going to change anything with a 3-5-2. And your answer was a counter-attack, which we do already. So I think fans are just saying it for the sake of just wanting a change. I mean, I'd like to be proven wrong, but I don't think fans have really thought this one out well. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe midfield-wise, we keep getting over one in midfield. Like, you play 2 in midfield, not 3. Maybe that's why I prefer 3-5-2. Maybe I could be wrong as well. But, yeah, midfield, maybe that's why I want a 3-5-2. Because you see other teams use it, like City, Liverpool, but we done it against Leicester. So,
Carl,
Conte, yo.
Tell me what players Man City and Liverpool have got.
Oh, well,
and then tell me the players that we've got.
We saw a stat. What was that stat you showed earlier, Stell, about Haaland?
Yeah, by the age of 22, Messi scored 43 goals, Ronaldo scored 50, Haaland scored 173.
Oh,
that's the kind of player that goes to Man City. We get Richarlison.
Like,
for the same price.
We get Richarlison. Like, yeah, like I'd probably say, yeah, just start 3-5-2, 2 in midfield, like actually 5 midfield, 2 up top, Kane and Son. But I think, yeah, probably put Kulu at right wing back. I know Ellie said we probably won't, but
he's injured at the moment, Carl. He's injured.
Huh?
But he's injured for 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, what do we do?
2 weeks, actually, I heard on Twitter, but 6, like, we've got Liverpool in November, if that's in 6 weeks.
I think he's got a hamstring injury, which is minimum 4 up to 6 weeks. If it is a hamstring, though. If Twitter has announced a different injury, then you'll be right.
Yeah, like, I don't know, what do we do then? Like, if he's got hamstring, then who do we start? Like,
well, this is my question. This is the question, Carl. You know, what do we do? Look at the players we've got. It's so difficult.
KPV in at right wing back.
Listen, KPV, get yourself down to that training academy, right, and tell them you're ready.
I can play right wing back anyway. I can. Get me in the sideline, and I'll show everyone how it's
better than Emerson.
You're better than Emerson.
Yeah, I am anyway. So put me right wing back, and I'll score more goals than Emerson. So Conte and Daniel Levy have heard it here first. Start me, and I can score more goals than the defence. But yeah, we go against Saturday. We'll go against Saturday, then Wednesday. So yeah, we got Brighton away first before those lot from the Frankfurters come to our ground. I'll be at the game on Wednesday. I'll be at the game on Wednesday night. First
Oh, good.
Champions League game. I'll be heading there seeing Ben and Sim. And
Oh, brilliant.
you'll
Brilliant.
probably be seeing me there with them before the game starts. So you'll probably watch the match day vlog when you go home, and you'll see me on the match day vlog. So let's win on Saturday. We need to beat Brighton at theirs. We already have, but let's do it again. And then Wednesday, and then the next few games are important. But we need to get back to winning ways. We didn't tonight, but Saturday we definitely will. Brighton at theirs, they're actually doing quite well. But can we win on Saturday? Of course we can. I just don't want to drop points. Those lot down Seven Sisters Road think they're gonna win the league, but no chance. City will win it, obviously. But yeah, let's get the win Saturday, then focus on Wednesday. So 2 games, then like I miss Kulu obviously because he's a beast. Like this since his debut in February, no one's got more assists than him. Like I've got the shirt with his name on, so but hopefully he'll be back soon and he can start causing problems to other teams. Like Haaland hasn't come up against him yet, but Kulu's going to have Haaland in his back pocket. So he should. We were supposed to play City a couple of weeks ago, but watch out, Haaland. You're going to have Kulusevski's going to have you in his back pocket. So
you heard it here first. See. KPV has called it. KPV has called it.
Gimme a KPV.
He's gonna be at the lane on Wednesday. All right, Cole, any final thoughts or anything you want to say?
Like, I'm just gonna say this. People saying Conte out, as Brian Daigle said, I think they're deluded. Like, I know they want the formation change, but we can't change that, I'm afraid. So you're just going to have to live with the formation we've got. So just stop moaning like kids and just accept what Conte played. Stop moaning and get behind Conte. You heard it. Stop moaning and just get over it. We can't change the formation. Just listen to what the boss said. So that's all I want to say. And North London is still white.
Lily White.
Lily White.
I'm
off to listen to Who Let the Dogs Out. I'm off to listen to Who Let the Dogs Out. David did.
Get back, Gruffy. Get back, Scruffy.
Who let the dogs out?
Big up, KPV. Big up, KPV. Have fun on Wednesday. Have fun next Wednesday, buddy.
I will.
Good to see you back, buddy. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, KPV.
Big up.
I don't think Haaland will be in Kulu's back pocket, though, if I'm honest.
We're going to find out.
We'll find out. Look, there's been a couple of super chats. Big up Carl Bruce. Fatigue causing sloppy attack play. Always the same lineup every game. 2 games in 4 days. Forwards too thin to rotate. More depth in January. Improve the link up and touches. Absolutely, Carl. Rajesh Sharma, member for 10 months. Conte is so arrogant, doesn't compromise when needed.
Compromise what, Sharon? Compromise what?
I don't know. Exactly. And Carl Bruce again. Big up, Carl. 3-5-2 will allow forwards to rotate. We have more mids to accommodate.
Yeah, but you don't play a formation to accommodate what you've got. You play a formation to win a game of football. So that's like saying we've got 20 defenders, so let's go 8 at the back. It doesn't work like that. Do you know, it's interesting. I asked Carl why the 3-5-2, and he kind of just changed away from it after 2 minutes of chatting. I really don't think we've really thought this one out. I do get why fans want it.
Do you think though it does give us the ability to rotate at the front? Bearing in mind that I know we lose that attacking option and that outlet, but
no, it 100% gives us the ability to rotate. But then you lose a creative element because now you're depending. Rather than having 3 creative up front, you've got 2. So now you're depending on 2 wide players to create even more when we're struggling. So I think it just puts more pressure on the areas that we're weak in, which is wide. If we had an attacking mid, really not a Basuma, Benton, someone we're going to try and make into an out-and-out attacking mid, then I'd say, yeah, I get it. But we don't. We don't have Eriksson.
Yeah.
We don't have Maddison. If we don't have Maddison. If Kulusevski was fit, or Mora was fit, and potentially they could play in that role, I get it. But we don't. This is the whole kind of scenario, and I think I honestly believe this is why Conte is sticking with it, because he knows he hasn't got the players for it.
Yeah.
Which is difficult for us because we're pulling our hair out. But if you want to sign Longleys and Spences and Fraser Foresters and Idojis and send them on loan, and not go and buy Maddison, Milenkovic, Savic, if you don't want to do it, then it's kind of where we're at.
Exactly. Right. Let's get into it. He was here on the Marathon post-match fan show. Hopefully it's not going to be a 3-hour post-match fan show tonight, because otherwise I'll just sleep here, I think. But here we have Hassan. Big up, Hassan. How you doing, mate?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you, Hassan?
Yeah, not doing too bad. We didn't lose, so that's something, I guess.
Yeah, it is. That is the positive, right?
Yeah. Something. Yeah. The game as a whole, pretty much what I expected. Two teams who like to break on the counter going against each other. So you saw when they had the ball, we're sitting deep. When we had the ball, they sat deep, and it's just who choked first. And look, we had some chances, which if our forwards took, could have been a different story. But look, in the end, we only had 2 shots on target out of 12 shots. So I guess that tells you all there really is to the story today. Our forwards are just, I don't know what to put on, whether it's fatigue, whether it's just not understanding each other, whether they're out of form. I don't think Richarlison can play as a winger at all.
That's what you said.
He looks lost. He looks lost as a winger. I think up front, down the middle is where he's going to be the best, making runs in behind. And look, if Kane isn't dropping as deep to spray balls, which I don't think he should be because we need him up front, you're not going to have any creativity because Son and Richarlison aren't those players. That's why Kulusevski is such a big part of our team, is because he does add that creative element. So I think that it's just not. Yep.
Hassan, sorry, Jake. There's trolls in the chat, killing the chat. Yeah, sorry, Hassan. I just had to jump on something.
Yeah, no.
I think you make a good point. I think tonight the biggest issue was our attacking players just either didn't have their shooting boots on in the first half, or lost their creative passing ability in the final third, in the second half. And I put tonight down more onto the players just not doing what they are capable of doing.
Yeah. I mean, the football's not going to get better in one game, so I wasn't expecting that. But just the amount of chances not the amount of chances, but chances which were you'd think we'd put away. I mean, there were a few chances for Kane where he was like right in front of the goal and he was just a second late, or he didn't, pardon me, anticipate it. And it just seemed off. Like the amount of possession lost from our front three, the passes just going to random areas. Like you'd expect at least Son and Kane to link up and do something, but even there, link up just seems to be lost. And I don't know if that's tactically what's happening, or Son's out of form and Kane's out of form, so they're both not clicking. I don't know, but it's hurting the team a lot.
How's about this, Hassan? We still depend too much on Kane and Son. So when they don't click, or when they're not performing, then it's where do you go? And this is why I am on the fence with Richarlison, because he's supposed to be that third option. Yeah. But tonight, for me, he didn't prove anything. Like literally, it was a case of we could have had anyone up there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that's his best position, and I'll be on the fence with him until he gets a go as a striker for a few games and see how he performs. If he's a lot better and gets a goal here and there, I'll be like, okay, fair enough, right, we found your position. But I think in a way, every team will rely on their best players. I mean, if Salah and Diaz are not playing, I know they have Firmino and Jota and stuff like that, but if their best players aren't performing, they will struggle. You see how
Yeah, but
Mane leaving
Trent scored
yeah,
tonight
of
for
course,
Liverpool.
of course,
When do our wing backs score?
Yeah, of course. I'm just talking about the front men. But you are right. It's still we're still reliant, and I don't think signing one forward was going to ever fix that. I think Kulusevski definitely helps. I think when he's there, it definitely takes the burden of them a little bit more. You saw that last season, but yeah, today was just missed opportunities, final pass. I think even against Arsenal, you saw that. The few counters that we had, our final pass was just overhit or underhit, too much, wrong choice. And Conte has to find a way to either get those players playing the way they want. Because I wouldn't say it's a mentality thing. Because if Kane is having a mentality issue, then there's be some deeper questions asked about who he is, right? So whether it's motivation, rotation, tactics, we have to find a solution. Otherwise, it's going to be missed chances again and again.
Do you think we've got the quality? Do you think we've got enough quality in midfield and in the wide
or,
areas?
Or midfield?
No, we know up front we've got the quality. They're the two best strikers, arguably, along with Haaland in the league. Maybe Salah on his day, Jota.
Yeah.
But do we have the quality in midfield? I'm talking about the wide areas and the central areas to create the quality of service needed consistently.
Yeah, look, left wing back Perisic is difficult because he's our best wing back, but he's also not been that great. I think partly it's because of his age. I think also because I don't think he might have missed one game since his start against Wolves. But other than that, he's played every single game. And as a 33-year-old who has to play one of the most demanding positions in Conte's system, it's going to take a toll eventually, which is why I'm really worried for the next 3 Premier League games because, fans are saying, oh, Emerson's not playing. It's time for Doherty to play. It's time for Spence to play. He'll put Perisic right wing back and Sessegnon on left wing back. I think people have to come to the understanding that that's the way he'll go. And so if Perisic gets injured because he's been overworked, then it's, where do we go from there, right? So to circle back to your question, I think Perisic does add a bit of creativity, but I think him and Son, they're not figuring out how to work with each other. They both like to cut inside wide, and it's not working there. So that's stemming a bit of the creativity on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, wing back, we all know Emerson's limitations, we'll put it that way. So I'm not expecting anything from him. And in the midfield, look, we can say player profile-wise, we don't have that creative player, but until we see a full game with those 3 in midfield, I can't definitively say that it won't help us progress the ball. Because one of the main reasons I was so excited when we signed Basuma was when I watched Brighton, one of his big traits would be getting the ball deep and just progressing the ball forward. Not the fancy passes or the little flares, the flicks, but just moving the ball forward. I think when Højbjerg or Bentancur win the ball, it's sort of like, okay, let me just pass it off. Let me pass backwards. Let's calm down. With him, it's sort of, okay, let me turn and see an option. And I think if you put that in the midfield, it might work. It might not also, but until I see a full game, I can't definitively give a yes or no response to that. So I think until I see Basuma in a 3, I don't know if our midfield is quality-wise good enough. But the wing back area is definitely not.
No, I think tonight. I don't know about you. I thought Perisic looked like again he was playing too high up. We were getting caught on that left hand side, and then obviously we brought Sesson, which didn't really, didn't really have a massive impact.
Which really confused me. I don't know if Stell has a different opinion on this or not. Brian Hill.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I know he's the only attacker we have on the bench, right? So you have to bring him in.
You don't have
if
to.
he wants, you don't have to, right? Okay, so okay, cool. So you don't have to. So if he's put enough trust in Brian Hill for him to get 15 minutes in a Champions League game, what is he not seeing in Spence or Doherty that he could displace Emerson? Because I thought when Brian Hill came, he had 2 nice dribbles and then got bodied by whoever he came up against. So I just don't see where he trusts Brian Hill, who's played maybe collectively 30 minutes in the Premier League last season.
So, Jake, we can hear someone in the background. Sorry, Sam, there's someone in the background we can hear.
All right, no worries.
Okay. I think to answer your question is Brian Hill replaced Richarlison. Spence isn't going to replace Richarlison. So if you've got a front 3, Brian Hill goes into the front 3. But Spence doesn't play that role. So that's why Spence didn't come on. Sessegnon came on because Perisic came on. Spence isn't a left wing back. The only time Spence could have come on was if Emerson came off. But I don't...
Yeah, but why wouldn't he add some attacking fluidity on that right-hand side?
Because he never signed him, Hassan. He never signed him. Spence is not a Conte signing. I remember when we signed Spence, I was very happy because I like Spence. Personally, I really like Spence. But when we signed him, I just found it very interesting.
It didn't make sense.
Of the 7 players that we signed, the only player Conte publicly came out and said, this is a club signing. This is an investment by the club. The club wanted him. Why would you not make those comments about Udogie or about Pape Sarr or about Longley? Why not say Longley's a stopgap? I didn't really want him, but he's going to come in and do a job for a year. Or he specifically made comments about Spence. So it was almost like a subtle dig at the board. It was a subtle explanation to the fans to say, look,
I didn't want
I never chose this. But if he does play for us and he does really well, I did sign off on it. But if he doesn't do well, I told you they wanted him. That when you start a transfer like that, this is where we're at now. So I think I'm just trying to give you an answer to your question. The answer is, look, I don't know, you don't know, Nick doesn't know, none of us know. If he really, really wanted him, he'd start every game like Perisic does, and like Richarlison does when someone's injured. So, it's probably why.
It's frustrating because I get his side of it. I get his side of it because, look, you're buying me a player I don't want. Look, I'm not going to use him. But then also there's other sides where, okay, if you don't use him, I don't have to pay the extra 7.5 million add-ons which I have to if he gets certain games. So, you're saving me money. And then on the other hand, it's, well, yes, be angry at the board for not getting a right wing back, but why didn't you pressure them during the transfer window? Why didn't you go, no, I don't want Spence? I mean, look, maybe there might have been some compromise and I'm talking out my ass or whatever, but why didn't you go, look, give me a proper right wing back. I don't want Spence. I'm not going to play him. You sign him. He's sitting on the bench. Give me someone I can use, or at least, tell him, put him on loan at Nottingham Forest. Right, sign him, put him on loan. He gets a year of Premier League experience. He comes back and he's ready. But seeing Hill get minutes when we could have maybe done something else or beefed up the midfield instead of bringing Hill on, and it was just very confusing, the Spence situation.
I think, Hassan, do you know what I hear in your voice? I hear a fan who is like pretty much most of our fans, who's really frustrated, but you don't know the answer. And no one knows the answer.
That's fans, that's who we are, I guess.
Yeah, like none of us know the answers because I think I honestly believe the reality is this: these players aren't good enough for what Conte wants to do. In terms, do you know what I felt after the transfer window? I felt after that transfer in the summer, I thought we've tried to do enough to secure top four again next season. And that's it. I don't feel like I look at Arsenal and I hate them. I hate them, right? I've got a Spurs shirt.
Of course.
Right? But I have to say, they finished 2 points behind us, only 2 points. So it was or 1 point, was it? 1. So close. Look what they did. They fixed their centre-back problem, their left-back issue for when Tierney's injured, and they got the striker they needed. They all start immediately. The level of the team goes up. We badly needed a right wing back. We didn't do it. We badly needed a left wing back. We got an aging 33-year-old. We badly needed a second striker. We spent a lot of money for someone that hasn't really scored a lot of goals. And we badly needed someone to partner Romero. We got Longley. And we needed an attacking mid. So when you look at it, what issues did we really fix? And then everyone's crying that, Arsenal are top, look at the football they're playing. They went and fixed their issues. I don't think we have, Hassan. Personally speaking, I don't think we have. But, you know, it's open up to interpretation. I mean, what do you think? What's your take on that?
This might be a bit of a long rant, but my only issue is this. With Conte, right? People are saying, you know, he's here for the project. He's here for the long term. And if he's been sold the idea that, look, we'll back you in January, we'll back you in the summer, and if he believes that, then I would be partly disappointed, because that means he's thinking the same way as majority of our fan base, that, I'm going to get my players in January, I'm going to get my players in the summer. If he stayed here for money, again, that wouldn't make sense to me, because this man's played for Juventus, coached Juventus, Inter Milan, Chelsea. He has money, right? He has enough money. After a point, money is just a number for people in this kind of field. So for me, he stayed here for some reason that he's thinking, okay, with this squad, I can achieve something. He said, you know, if I have a 1% feel that we can do something, that's it, right? So he has that feeling. And if he's stayed, my only issue is, if he stayed, that means he's accepted the squad. For whatever frailties it has, whatever liabilities it's had, he's accepted this. If not, he could have walked, you know, spent some time with his children and got the Juventus job next year.
But he hasn't signed that contract yet, so has he?
Well, from what I understand is that they have, when he signed that initial contract, it was the two years plus option to extend. Like, he's signed up on that.
But let's
so
say
if they say let's do the extra year.
But would you? Okay, but let's say Conte says
it's a cat and mouse game. I know what you're going to go.
What I'm going to say is if they force that, they trigger the option, so Conte has to say another year. But they know Conte hates it. He doesn't want to be here. And they know he's not going to perform, because they're not going to trigger the option, right? So I think that option is just this carrot that's being dangled in front of everyone. This is what I said to Nick earlier. I don't know if you were listening, or if you were watching then. I said, I think we've got this issue at Tottenham where two worlds collide. You've got a project that takes 3, 4, however many years, and you slowly build it, slowly build it. And you bring in a manager that does these things, like Poch, like a Ten Hag, like what Arteta's trying to do, these kind of managers. Or you bring in a manager who is now. I do it now, which is what I thought Conte is. But the problem is with that, you've got to invest big, bring in top players, constantly bring in top players that are ready now, not in the future, or stopgaps. And between these two worlds colliding, you've got players that are going to be slowly beginning to deteriorate in the next 3 years, Kane and Son. So if you're going to do a project, forget Kane and Son. If you're going to do the here and now, great. But if you look at our transfer business, it's not a project. Sorry. It's a bit of a sorry. No, beg your pardon. Yeah, it's a mix and match. But it's not here and now. So I don't know, Hassan. Like, as a fan, how do you feel? I look at Spurs now and I think, what are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing? Because I thought I knew when Conte got us top 4 and we signed Kuhn Bentancur. I thought, okay, this summer we're going to go big, we're going to blow up. And we've come out of that transfer window. I'm like, what was the point of top 4? We could have got these players being in the Europa Cup. We could have got these players being in the Europa Cup.
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 weeks, I was like, okay, Perisic, that's definitely a Conte signing, right? You're not going to expect Daniel Levy to go, yes, I want a 33-year-old.
I agree.
Basuma, I was like, okay, he's a top midfielder, right? Sure, the price is whatever you want to say. Cool, okay. We've addressed central midfielder, left wing back. Galini, rubbish goalkeeper. We've got goalkeepers playing in the Premier League, right? Don't really care about that, but
who cares?
We fixed it, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. It's going great. They talked about Bastoni, Lautaro Martinez. I was like, okay, this is going good. And then the Jed Spence deal came about, right? And like you, I watched a few Forest games and I thought, you know what, he's a half decent right wing back. But when it took 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, Jed Spencer signed. Oh wait, no, he hasn't signed. Oh, Jed Spencer's close to signing. Oh wait, no, he hasn't
And
signed.
Daniel Levy
And
was
he
in
kept
charge
going-
of that deal.
Exactly, and then I was like, okay, it's not a Conte signing. It's a Daniel Levy. He wanted to get his hands in on the action, and then I was like, okay, we signed Richarlison, right? Wasn't my first pick. I would have gone for someone like Jesus, but I was like, okay, we spent money on a position which we haven't been able to get. Someone to back up Harry Kane if he gets injured. I was like, okay, cool. But then Longley, who, by the way, I thought he had an okay game today, but as you know, we don't want a stopgap. You want someone for the now. Longley came in. Spence finally came in. When we signed Udoji, I thought, okay, cool, we got a good left wing back. He went back on loan. And it just sort of trailed off at the end, and it's sort of like a meh window. Right? you had the hope, and they just took it from you, and
So
that's life as a Tottenham fan.
where are you as a Spurs fan right now? Right, where are you? Okay, because I said to Nick, I think the fan base is split into three. You've got the Conte-ins. You've got the I'm sick of this, get him out, and you've got the ones in the middle, change the tactics, change the formation, change this. Where are you? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm Conte in, but I'm also, I don't know where we're going with this. As a club, I feel again there's no plan. I hope I'm wrong, man. I really do, because it's going to end in disaster if that's the case. But where are you as a fan?
I'm not Conte out. Of course, I'm not Conte out. It's like, if you sack him, who are you going to get, right? You think Thomas Tuchel's going to come to Tottenham? No, he's not going to come. And if he does come, it's going to be the same type of football and the same type of
Chelsea rejects
thing,
don't work. We've done AVB, we've done Mourinho. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
We're doing Conte at the but
we're doing Conte.
I'm definitely Conte. I'm definitely Conte. There is a part of me who I want to see a change, purely because I just want to see if it will change something, right? If he plays the 3-5-2 and it's utterly useless, then I'll put my hand up and say, you know what, we were talking out of turn. You're the manager. Fair enough. If he plays Spence, and Spence is absolutely horrific, I mean, worse than Emerson, I'd be like, okay, you were right. You saw in training that Emerson was rubbish. I'm sorry, Spence was rubbish. I believe you now. But a part of me just wants to see something different. Whether it works or not is up to how it goes, but just something where I'm not going, oh, Emerson's got the ball again. Oh, the ball's just past Bentancur and Højbjerg. Oh, Bentancur's lost the ball. Oh, Højbjerg's lost the ball. Oh, we're getting over. Just something. If it works or not, I couldn't care at this point. I just want to see something, just something different to just see what happens. Who knows? Spence might suddenly just take like a duck to water. You now got a really good right wing back.
Okay,
and Conte could be like, yes, look at me, I trained him, and now he's great.
Let me throw this at you. Okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's not that I don't
disagree. Go for it.
Why? We're third in the league, and we're currently second in the group, about to qualify from the Champions League. Why?
Yeah, results wise, could not complain, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea probably should have lost.
Yeah.
West Ham probably should have lost,
but we didn't.
Arsenal, we didn't, but we will. That's what I'm saying. We will. I don't know about you, but this cannot continue like this. There will be results where we simply, they get the tide doesn't go in our favor. They get a lucky goal, and then what happens because if we lose against Brighton, right? Let's say we do, right?
Yeah.
That Sporting lost. We beat Leicester, who were 20th in the league at that stage.
Yeah.
Then we lost to Arsenal, drawn to Frankfurt, and then lose to Brighton.
Yeah.
So that's 1 win in 5, and we've lost 2 and drawn 1.
Yeah.
So then it's sort of like, cool, the results look good because we're in 2 different competitions, but if you group them together, results haven't been great. Right? And if we had played Man City, it would have been...
But hold on, but we haven't played Man City. And we are third in the league.
I know.
See, what you're doing is speculating. I'm going by facts. The facts are we are third in the league and we are second in the Champions League group. That is a fact. Antonio Conte is a results man. He's getting results with what he's got. Tell me another manager that comes in with these players and gets us third in the league and in the qualification phase of Champions League. Mourinho tried it, failed. Nuno tried it, failed. Poch tried. He ended up failing because, he eventually failed. He's got us back into the Champions League after 3 years of not being in it. We are at the moment. We're going to qualify for the knockout stage of Champions League, and we're going to stay in the top 4 as it stands right now. So I hear what you're saying. You're spot on. I actually agree with you. I don't think it's sustainable, but whilst we are in the position we're in, it's like how do we argue it?
You can't. But it's just, I mean, there were times today where, like, I kid you not, this is not to exaggerate. Like, I nearly fell asleep. Like in some of our build-up play. I mean, Dyer was just walking with the ball. Like, he'd tap it a centimeter forward, and it's like, I can't complain, right? Because you're right. We're third in the league. We've the best start in so many years. We're second here. I can't, but it's like, how can you not? Your
issue is you are bored of this football, right? You're bored of the football.
I am,
just like thousands and thousands of other Spurs fans.
Yeah.
You're just
but with
bored
Conte, that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna expect
I-
flashy, like tiki-taka football. Obviously, better football at Inter Milan and Juventus, but not to the stage where some fans, I think, are wanting it to be like doing. You know,
I think
scored a goal.
I think tonight, in that final third where we lost possession of the ball, or in defence where we just looked a little bit wobbly at times, playing out from the back. If you put quality players in those positions, those things won't happen as much, and suddenly the football's better. So I think the football will improve as the quality of player improves. But as it is now, I think we're going to go through a transitional phase with Conte where it's going to be like this. And I don't know if fans have got the patience for it, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if fans have got the patience for it.
If they're already saying Conte, I can confidently say no. I just have a question because I know I've been talking for quite a while.
We've got to move on to the
What were
next
your guys' thoughts on Longley? What were your thoughts on Longley today? Because I thought he was probably, apart from Romero, one of our better defenders.
Nick?
I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was. He set the world on fire. He did okay. He didn't. His passing wasn't great. There was a couple of times where it was kind of loose, but he did okay. I think he's just okay. It's like Ben Davies. He's okay, but he doesn't.
I think he's a bit better than Ben Davies, just in terms of I'm not as scared when Ben Davies gets on the ball.
Hassan, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is for me? When you look at Romero, you think, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that for Longley, but I don't feel like that for Dyer. And I don't feel like that for Sanchez. Until I get my Toby and my Vertonghen back, which is, let's pretend it's going to be Romero and my Bastoni, then I'll be okay. Now I expect things. But with Dyer and Davies and Longley, I don't really expect that much. A top 4 challenge is what I expect. I expect us to battle for top 4. And I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I'll leave it there.
Give me your quick prediction though for Brighton game on the weekend. Everyone's saying we're going to lose that. I think we're going to surprise people. I think we're going to
1-0 Brighton, didn't I?
I know you said. I think we're going to be all right.
I didn't watch the game against Liverpool, so I don't know if their style of play has changed or anything. But
no, it's good. It's good. It's good.
It's good. Well, I think I said this. I thought it was against Arsenal, and I don't know because obviously still you coach, and I could be completely off. But I think we have to match them in midfield. I think if we not, Højbjerg and Bentancur played 3 games in the span of 9 days or 7 days. They're going to be tired. Just add someone extra there. If it takes a bit of creativity, so be it. Just add someone there so you can get the ball to Son and Kane, and Son can just sprint at them. Just throw them off, right? And if we do that, I think we could surprise them. If it's 3-4-3, it's going to be pray that our forwards can do better.
Okay. I agree with you. A possession-based football team, you don't want them having possession in the middle. I agree with you. I agree.
Okay. Hassan, thanks for the call. We've got plenty more people in the back. We'll see you again Saturday or next Wednesday. Big up, Hassan.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Right, there's some big hitters in the back apparently. This one looks moody, and it's Danny. Do Mr. Kiriakou.
Fuck off, mate.
Fuck off, mate.
How are you boys?
Good, mate.
Buzzing.
Come on.
Buzzing.
Yeah,
Third in the league, second in the group. Come on, mate.
I've just seen another one back in the back end. I wonder what he's going to say when he comes on. Bloody hell. he doesn't look too happy. He looks a lot worse than I do, mate. I'm telling you that for a fact.
If he keeps us awake, I don't mind.
Yeah, he probably will.
Come on, Danny. What were your thoughts, mate?
I mean, some of the stuff I've seen today on like chats, Twitter, people actually think we've had a good game, like it's a good performance. I mean, what fucking game are they watching? Honestly, this game, right, is definition of a poor performance, and I'll tell you why, right? Because in the first half, we actually created chances, right, which we haven't done too much of. They weren't like amazing chances, but we created chances, and the problem was that none of the forwards or anyone who got into those positions or didn't get into those positions, we couldn't put the ball in the back of net. We couldn't even hit the target. Son was literally he was central of the goal, and he fucking couldn't even get it on target, right? You had Harry Kane missing chances as well. He missed quite a few chances. They just couldn't get it. They couldn't hit the target at all. Then the second half comes on, and you think, all right, maybe this is like Tottenham's time, because Tottenham always seem to do better this season in the second half. And it just got worse. It literally just got worse. I mean, Richarlison, Son, Kane, they're all pathetic. Like, they're passing. These are supposed to be like some of the best players in football, like especially Son and Kane, right? And they just look like I don't even know. They look like shadow of themselves today. It was so bad. Like, they couldn't pass a ball. Their touch was just completely awful, including Richarlison, right? It was, I mean, they were just touching the ball off the pitch some of the times. It was like, what are we watching? Like, I watched you two, right? And you and Barry were just absolutely just, you could see how bad it was. You could see how pissed off and angry you were getting, because it was the same shit over and over and over again. I mean, when is this team, right, ever going to learn that to play? Honestly, when is this team ever going to learn to play football? I mean, it was like I was like Barry was on repeat. Like, you might, every time Richarlison lost the ball, Son lost the ball, it was the same action. It was, I mean, I loved it, but I mean, it was just, but it was just hilarious just watching this team. And I'll tell you one thing, right? The one thing that pissed me off even more was the fact that this team was there for the taking, right? And we couldn't even beat a team that played just as bad as us up front, right? They couldn't string passes together. They were terrible, right? And we should have beaten this team. On the night, we should have beaten this team. And that's why it's a disappointing performance, because we should have won that game.
Who do you blame, Danny?
The players. This is on the players. This is on the players. Today, Conte, it wasn't his tactics. I think he got the formation fine. Yeah, I think you can't say this is all Conte's fault in this game, right? Because let's be honest. First of all, look at the options he has on the bench, right? He had to bring on a player he didn't want to bring on, and when he did come on, you saw why he didn't want to bring him on, because he kept losing the ball every single time. The one thing that Brian Hill did was the defensive, where he actually lost the ball, he then won it back and then did a nice little foot movement to go away from the player, and then gets barged off the ball, and that was literally the best thing he did. I mean, literally, that's what we're having to deal with, right? So, like, and now people are saying, right, and this is what really annoys me, is people are saying, oh, just bring on Jed Spence. Look, I understand what people are saying about they want to see something different. They want, even if it doesn't work. But I guarantee you for a fact, if these players that people want to see come on, like a Jed Spence, like a Brian Hill, if they come on and do worse, they're going to be like, oh, they shouldn't have come on. You know, you're going to get the usual fucking excuses that you see with every single fan that wants this change, right? For me, I'm going to back Conte whatever, right? I think whatever he decides, there's a reason why he's doing it. He clearly said in the press conference before the game, there's a reason why players like Jed Spence and Matt Doherty are not playing. He sees them in training every day. He knows exactly what they're capable of, right? Matt Doherty got given a chance at the weekend, and he was even worse than Emerson when he came on. He actually crossed the ball to an Arsenal player and nearly gave him a chance, a clear chance, right? So there's obviously, you could see in Doherty's game when he came on that his confidence wasn't right. He didn't look, he just looked nervous. He didn't look confident. It didn't look right.
Can I just read something to you, Danny? just want to read something to you.
Go on.
Conte said this in his post-match press conference. We have to become stronger as a squad. If we have the ambition and the intention to play for these two big competitions, the Premier League and the Champions League, and you lose a lot of energy and players to injuries, you need a really, really big squad. What is he saying to us there? What is he saying to us there?
He's fucking saying?
Right.
Bro, Daigle's in the background going absolutely mental right now, right? and you're gonna see him let rip, right? But I'm gonna let rip first because we all know what the fucking problem is with this club, right? We all know what the fucking problem is with this club, right? It's that fucking idiot who runs this club, right? And I don't care what anyone says, right? This is the reason. It's the same shit we see every single fucking window, right? We always get, like you said, Stel, earlier, it's always the bare minimum. It's always the bare fucking minimum, right? They always go into every window, let's get the bare minimum to try and achieve our goals, which is to get top 4 or to get as high as possible in the table or to be competitive. Well, this ain't fucking competitive, and we'll be lucky if we get top 4 playing this fucking football right now. Honestly, I mean, look, let's be honest, right? The problem we've got is, right? The problem we've got is that if we get injuries right now, look at who we've got now on the bench, right? We've got Kulusevski, who could potentially be out for 6 weeks. Lucas Moura, who's got an unknown injury, who we don't know when he's going to be back, right? So our options now up front are Brian Hill, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, Son, and Richarlison. So 3 of them are going to have to play every single. Yeah, 3 of them are going to have to play every single game unless he goes to that 3-5-2, right? And the funny thing is, Conte was saying that he was going to start switching it up after the international break. I know it's only been 2 games, but I'm hoping I'm going to see something different against Brighton, because I tell you what, if we play like that against Brighton, we're not winning that game. I'm telling you that for a fact. We ain't winning that. It'll be lucky if we draw that game, because if we play like that, and when I mean play like that, Stel, I also Barry, I also mean fucking in not taking the chances, because that's exactly what we're doing at the moment. Against Arsenal, we didn't really take chances. We had we created some moments in the Arsenal game in that first half, and we didn't take our chances when we had them. It's the same shit we've been seeing.
Danny, I want to know these fans that say, I love Richarlison, I love Richie. Oh, is it me? Have I missed something? Is he really that good?
Stel.
I'm just asking the question.
You know,
because I haven't seen it. I've seen moments, but I haven't seen a performance where I say, "Wow, yeah." Maybe against Fulham actually. I saw a bit against Fulham, but that was it really.
Yeah, he was good against Fulham. Yeah, he was good against Fulham, and in the Champions League against Marseille, where he scored those goals. But honestly, what I see in him is a player that Conte likes in terms of his characteristics, right? He likes the fact that he works hard and he doesn't give up, and he's a bit of a shithouse, right? And he gives Conte options in terms of rotation. He's a bit of a rotational player. That's what Conte sees him as. He doesn't see him as a pure number 9. Doesn't see him as a pure right winger, left winger. He sees him as someone who can come in and be a bit versatile, play him where he needs to play him, right? The problem is, Richarlison's not a top player. Let's be honest, right?
Daddy, I'm going to say something controversial.
Player, but he's not a top player.
I'm going to say something controversial.
You controversial?
Honestly. And I might end up in the mud I might end up in the mud end of season. I think Kulusevski shits all over Richarlison. I think
I do too, man. I
think Kulusevski is levels above Richarlison.
Oh, so do I. Still, I don't know why you think that's controversial, man. I think exactly the same. Kulu is far better player.
I think there's a big gap, and you can see the two.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the difference. Look, Richarlison's not really a player who beats his man, right? He's just not that type of player. He's a bit off the cuff type player. He does nice, and what I've noticed about Richarlison, even his Everton days still, right? His passing in the final third lets him down at times, quite a bit of times, if I'm honest. And you see the option tonight, right? It's like, do you try maybe Son on the right and then put Richarlison on the left where he plays a bit better? Maybe try that. I don't know. But
yeah, I think I think Richarlison. I said it earlier. I don't think he's that strong on that side, and that's why he's not maybe playing as well as he should be.
I was told he could play anywhere across the front three. That's why we bought him.
I was told this was a 9 out of 10 transfer window.
And when I anyway, do you know what, Danny, go on.
Do you know what, Stel?
Keep saying what you're going to say.
Do you know what, Stel? It's funny because like this Richarlison thing. Like, look, he is definitely going to.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I can see Brian doing press ups in the background.
Yeah, I know.
He's doing like yoga. He's doing his breathing.
I know. He's rocking. He's like he's on one tonight. But look, Richarlison's a good player to have in the squad. But the problem is, I think he's not the right wing. Is not his position. I think where you want him to play is either down the middle or on the left hand side. I think he's quite good on the left hand side, but if he's not gonna change it up a little bit and go either 2 up top or try Son on the right, because Son can play on the right. He comes on off his left foot better than Richarlison can. So why not put Son on the right? He's 2-footed, right? Put Richarlison on the left. That's where he's best at. And that's the best football I've seen. When Richarlison's played off the left hand side, that's when from Tottenham. That's where I've seen his best football. So
do you know what I would do, Danny? Do you know what I would play with these? If I was a manager of Tottenham, do you know what I would do with this squad? Looking at the players we've got, personally speaking, I would go 4-2-3-1. But I'm telling you now, the backlash from the fans would be insane. It would be insane because basically, because that's what Mourinho did, and he had us top of the table, and they switched on him. I would do that with the players we've got. We are a 4-2-3-1 team, but again. Conte sees them in training and he's got his long-term plan. That's what I would do.
Do you know what? I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, and the only reason I disagree with you is because of our defensive issues. Yeah, if we go to a back four, the reason why those players work so well in a back three and we don't concede too many goals, a majority of games, right? Mm-hmm. We might not win as much games because we play so defensive, but it's because he's trying to cover for the defensive faults in their game, right? Because let's be honest, Romero is obviously the best defender we have, right? Longley is still unproven yet. He's okay. We haven't seen like amazing stuff from Longley yet as a defender or in an attacking sense.
His passing tonight was poor. His passing tonight was poor.
Yeah, his passing was poor tonight. And that kind of tells you the player that he has been the last kind of 2 years at Barcelona.
His defending was good,
which
though.
Is why
he defended well tonight, though.
His defending was good. Yeah, his defending was. Yeah, I think Romero was. I think Romero and Benzema had good games in.
Even Dyer. Even Dyer had a good game. Dyer had a good game.
Yeah, Dyer was all right. But the thing is, let's be honest, they didn't really challenge us much. They didn't really give us much any threat really, and they were poor. Let's be honest. They were poor. If like Arsenal did, right? If you come up against a better team, you're gonna get outdone because let's be honest, that team we played tonight, they weren't great. And that's the thing. Like I'm worried in terms of for the weekend because Brighton are a better team in my opinion, the way they're playing at the moment, and the way they played against Liverpool at Anfield. If they play anything close to those levels against us at their home ground at the Amex, it's going to be a tough day. The problem we've got is
I was going to say, look, I'm just telling you what I would do with these players, right? But what Conte's doing is the right thing, though. And I've just contradicted myself. Because
you're a flip-flop.
No, it's more of a sandal with like a leather one. But the reason I'm saying that is you have to trust the manager. This has been one of the biggest problems Tottenham's had. And
definitely.
just because I say 4-2-3-1, but I know how I would play. But the thing is, Conte plays his way, and he's proven that his way wins trophies. So I'm just telling you what I would do, but fuck me, I'm not a Premier League manager. I'm just a coach with UEFA license. Conte's elite levels. I know what I would do, and I reckon I could prove it right. But the thing with Conte is this. What he's doing is what he set out in his head with the players that he's got, the Conte way. And we've got to back him because if we don't back Conte, we're going to do what we did to Poch. When Poch said, we've got the house, I need the furniture, painful rebuild. The line everyone's used. What did Levy do? Nah, mate, bye-bye.
Yeah.
When Mourinho said, Dele Alli, Dembele, this player, that player, get them out. They're a problem. What did we do? We sacked Mourinho.
Yeah.
We can't keep going to managers and not listening to what they say. Each manager is going to do it differently. But when they tell you something, you've got to trust the manager. And it's so difficult. Does Levy do that? No. He always pulls the trigger. Look. And I'm worried, Danny, we're going into that territory now where it's going to be trust the manager or trust the chairman. And the chairman has proven 13 times he got it wrong. I will back Conte in his formation all the way on this, even though I think there might be a better way.
Yeah,
but I trust Conte. I trust him. I don't know what other fans feel like.
So do I.
I do trust him.
And do you know what, Stel? Right? The funny thing is, right? What fans are so fickle because they forget. If people who say Conte out, in my opinion, are absolutely deluded. They're deluded. Right, all of them, right, and the reason why they're deluded is because Conte is one of the best managers in the world right now, right, in his peak, right. Now, if you go and sack Conte right now, right, the first thing that happens is Harry Kane decides to leave, right. Then you start looking at the other players like Romero. People think Romero's going to stay around. Don't be serious. You think Romero's going to stay around without an elite manager when his dream is to go to Barcelona, and You think players like Kulu are going to stay around? Because if you start selling your assets, your best players, what does that tell the players that are in the club? It doesn't mean they're showing any ambition. And we know Daniel Levy's not going to spend money to rebuild the squad if we get given the money, right? It's not going to happen. So you lose Conte, right? The downward spiral of this club, you won't believe how it's going to hit fans.
I
and
agree.
Then they're going to be like, I wish Conte was still there. I wish Conte was still there. They're all fucking idiots if they think anyone can do a better job than Conte with these players, like you just said, Stel, and Barry, like you said, the facts are we are third in the table, right, and we're second in the group stage in the Champions League, and we're still on course to qualify from that group, and we're still around City and Arsenal at the top, right? So it's not, and we've been playing bad football, right? They've been playing good football, so. Could you imagine if we were to hit form, if we were to actually hit some form and we start playing good football or we're playing well? Not even like, I'm not talking about like this one touch kind of like silky high pressing football. I'm talking about just good football, right? Being able to fucking pass a ball in the final third. Do you know what I mean? Like if we can start doing that, right, then we'll start scoring goals. And then all of a sudden our results start looking a bit better. Right, and we can actually start winning some games a bit more convincingly, or rather than having to scrape draws. Right, just get some confidence in these players. And for me, it's always been about the squad depth. This window has been an absolute poor window. You know my thoughts on this. I was saying it from the beginning. You're lucky if it's a 5 out of 10 in my opinion. Right, and I will rate it because it's been fucking poor.
Do you know what?
We didn't go and get the players we actually needed.
Even a lot of fans who are very pro Levy and Enoch, even they have said this window wasn't quite what we thought. Even they've said it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Danny,
it is. And before I go, I just want to say, look, for this season, I think what we need to do is we just need to make sure we back the manager and hope that the board can see what some logical fans can see, which is to give him the tools he needs to do his job, right? If he doesn't have those tools and he walks out, this club is going to go in a downward spiral for a while. And I'm telling you that. And I think that, and I still believe in Conte, and I think that he will get results, right? Even if it is playing shit football, he will probably achieve top 4, right? Just because of the manager and the caliber he is and the way he can get points out of nothing if we're playing that shit, right? His average last season was 2 points a game. It was one of the highest when he came in. And the only team that's got obviously more points than us was the Man City and Liverpool, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So this is a guy who was playing with Ben Davies and Eric Dyer in a back three. I mean, are you serious? Are you actually serious that people want this man out? He managed to get top 4 with Ben Davies and Eric Dyer in a back three. Sorry,
and Emerson right wing back.
Emerson Royale, like the most fraudulent footballer I've ever seen. Right?
Fraudulent.
He is so poor. He shouldn't even be on the football pitch. Like he shouldn't even be a professional footballer. It's that bad. And,
Danny's been
and
told
that's
to
one thing, right? That
lose
they
his
need to
electric,
sort
but-
out.
Danny,
Honestly, that's one thing they need to sort out. But yeah, look, I could go on for hours. But
Energy bill crisis has
energy
just hit
bill
Danny.
crisis. Danny, look, he's got the tidiest bedroom in the world. Look, maybe because Sana's watching or she's coming over this
Ready
weekend.
for
so,
the ladies.
yeah, big up, Danny. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
love you guys. See you later, man.
Big
Well
up,
done
Danny.
tonight, boys.
Big up, Danny. Thank you, mate. Two comments here. We've got big up to Ben Parsons. Welcome to Silver. Danny, not turning his mic off. Big up to Ben Parsons. I can't listen.
Danny,
to Danny.
stop
Shut
it.
up. Danny's back. And Bob Spur TV. If you didn't know, he was in a coma.
I heard a rumour.
I heard a rumour as well. For an elite manager, asking Spurs fans to trust him is nothing short of embarrassing. Who the fuck do we think we are?
Exactly.
Mason-
Exactly, Bob.
Mason in. The fan base deserve him.
Well, that's what we're going to get if we get rid of Conte, because no manager's going to touch this job if we lose Kane and Son.
Oh,
Let me ask you
dude.
one thing.
Go on.
Before we bring in the next victim.
The next victim. Line them up and shoot them.
When's the last time Spurs as a football club played really good football? Like really, like every week you couldn't wait. You thought, yeah,
The last season at White Hart Lane.
Poch.
Yeah. But that last season at White Hart Lane, where we didn't lose at home.
And why did fans want him out again? Because he couldn't win anything.
Yeah.
Now we've got someone that can win something. We want him out.
Yeah. And the other person back.
And bring Poch back.
Because we want to see the football, but...
Do you know?
we
I
also
saw the funniest thing the other day. Ricky Sachs from that other show. He said, "I wanted Poch out. He lost dressing room. It was time to go. We had to get rid of him. Blah blah blah." Now he's saying, "Do you know what? If we bring Poch back, I'm like, oh my god, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it."
Flip-flops everywhere. Anyway, this guy's not a flip-flop. He's a
Heavyweight,
heavyweight.
Black belt.
Heavy D.
heavy D, black belt in survival.
Yeah. I don't know. This is going to go nuclear.
He's from North London, mate.
It's Brian Daigle, everybody.
But first of all, Heavy D was that Gooner guy. Don't ever associate my name with that. Take Heavy D out of your mouth.
All right. Light D, Diet D,
Baby D.
Baby D.
Oh no, that's the
There we go. Let me be your fantasy. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. So before we get into this, I just want to make 6 points. Very, very quick. Very, very easy. And I'm going to try and stay very, very calm. In regards to formation, whether you want the 3-5-2 or, like Stel said, the 4-2-3-1, it is blatantly obvious we cannot play 3-4-3 without Kulusevski. Kulusevski is the most important component in that three, and I include Son and Kane in that. Second point, I am highly suspicious now that Bissouma is not a Conte player or a Conte signing, because he's getting exactly the same treatment as Spence. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a brilliant player and I'm so happy he's at Spurs, but I'm seriously starting to question whether Conte wanted him. Point 3, if this was Nuno with the 0 chances, the whole world would be going mad. But because there's people that are saying Conte out, which is ridiculous, but there's some accountability he has got to stand up for. Fourth thing, remember that torture, death by 1,000 cuts? Well, I'm dying of death of 1,000 minutes right now. I want another thing to sink in. We are in the Champions League, and at the end of the game, our right side of our team was Emerson Royale and Brian Hill. Let that sink in. Champions League, the right-hand side is Emerson Royale and Brian Hill. And of talking of Brian Hill, you look at Gareth Bale, who was slight and everything when we signed him. What did he do? He got in the gym, bulked up and grew into his body. The only thing Brian Hill has grown is a fucking moustache. That's it. That's it. Now we can dissect whatever you want. I'm going to try and stay away from the parasite because it's blatantly obvious where I'm going to go with that. Where would you like to go, guys?
Well, I
Because
thought you
this
said
is
you're
just
making 6
wonderful
points.
football.
I thought you were making 6
No,
points.
what's
That's
6?
4.
No, that's 6. Kulu, Bissouma, Nuno, death by 1,000 cuts, Emerson and Hill, Champions
Okay.
League right side of a team, and Hill's moustache. That's 6.
Okay. You just said 4, and then you went on and did the extra 2 without counting. So I lost. I lost the point. It's
You
late.
know Carol Vorderman. Ah,
No.
shame. Where,
I'm
where
not,
are we going,
mate.
guys? Well, first of all,
Do you-
great job with you guys. I don't know how you didn't fall asleep, especially you, Nick. But yeah,
He was trying.
I was trying.
That's
I
what I
was
was screaming
There was
every
a
time we
couple of
attacked.
yawns there, but I mean, look, I thought first half we played well. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
funny enough, I thought that was the whole idea of the game.
Brian,
But literally, no. The thing is, what you got to look at the 65th minute, I tweeted we had 9 shots on goal, not on target. Any other team with the elite strikers that are on display, you at least get them on target. At least get them on target. This is embarrassing.
well, this is why we brought Richarlison to the club, and he offered us nothing tonight. So
Oh, mate.
this is why I question Brian. I'm on the fence with Richarlison. I mean, I sat here with Sim the other day, and Sim was saying to me, you know, he thinks he's a really good player. He's effective, and I don't know the exact words. I can't remember the exact words, but Sim was quite in favour of him, and I said, I'll judge at the end of the season, and I will. I'm not going in on him as a whole, just for tonight. But I thought it was these moments why we brought that second striker, and he offered nothing for me tonight. So we're depending on Kane and Son again. So if Kane and Son don't do really well, then what do we go to? Well, we can't be Kulu because he's injured. So now you're looking at Perisic, 33. Brian Hill doesn't want to be at the club. And then you've got 2 holding mids. So it's like, where's it? And then you got the same fans saying play 3-5-2, not you, same 3-5-2 that said, Conte's system don't need an attacking mid. I'm like, every team needs a freaking attacking mid. Every team. What'd you do? Phil? You know,
This is the thing. I mean, we should have had one of the strikers on the bench. I don't care which one, whether it been Kane, Son, or Richie to bring on and at least give us that attacking option as change. One thing, I mean, Simeon and Bob brainwashed me with Richarlison, and I'm happy they did because I do think he is a great player. But I'll tell you what, he has got one of the most heaviest first touches I have ever, which gets him into so much trouble. He does it. His heavy touch it was there for all to see today. Sometimes his touches are silky as they can be, but again, there are moments, and when the games like this where you need to take the opportunities when they come, his touch was so heavy, and it got him into so much trouble. But there's just no. I mean, it says it all when you're looking to change the game and you bring on Ben Davies. That's
because Longley was on a yellow card, right? Yeah. So he had to bring on another left wing, a centre back, because Longley should have got a second yellow. So that was more tactical to stop us from going down to 10 men. The one I never got, because I said to Nick at the start of the show, I said, if Brian Hill comes on, literally fuck my life. And this was before kickoff. He came on, and I said to him, oh God. But then I looked at the bench. The only other attacking type player you could have brought on, maybe, was Bissouma. But like you said, Brian, you think he might not be a Conte signing now? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
Put it this way, mate. There is no doubt when we signed Bissouma, every Spurs fan was over the moon. We saw what he did against us. We saw what he's done in the Premier League. Yeah. Forget the 25 million last season of the contract. It was a fantastic buy for Tottenham Hotspur. And it stopped him going to another Premier League team where he would have played. And you thought, you know what? This is looking good. This is going somewhere with this window. We might be doing bits. But you look at it. I don't know what he's done. But he comes on with the odd minute here and there. And what I don't understand, even if you don't want to bring on Bissouma, you got Ollie Skip there that you have mentioned you love. And you played regularly when you first came. You know he offers something. He may not offer something going attacking-wise, and it just goes to show our attacking options. We have a player on the bench that we don't even want. We don't even want. It's like, here you go. Go sit on the Champions League bench. Mate, the guy spent more time on the floor. He spent more time on the floor than he did on his feet.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
We were saying that he didn't play well. He didn't play well at all.
Mate, listen, he only had a little introduction to come in, but it's these moments you have to take. You get this opportunity. You want to prove a manager wrong. You take these moments. And once again, he didn't. And we're just starved of any idea of what we're doing. I put a tweet out saying, what is going on at our beloved Tottenham Hotspur? And I said, no one is exempt from this. The board, the manager, he's got to be questioned. He's got, as you know, I am so Conte in. I believe he's the man to do it. But then you have the right, just because he's Antonio Conte doesn't mean he doesn't get criticism for decisions. And if I'm man enough to go all man, Levy out, and talk how I do about Levy, Conte has to be held accountable for certain things.
What did he do wrong tonight, Brian?
Mate, it's just he should not with the lacking of attacking options. There's got to be something. Like you said, 4-2-3-1. We know Harry Kane up top by himself. We saw what he did under Poch. He's devastating. Right now, he's having to drop so deep to create the passes that he should be on the end of. There's got to be a way where in my opinion, like I said, like you said, mate, Conte knows above all and everything. There's got to be a change in formation. The Spurs fan base.
Yeah, because
Brian,
I just feel today's game that I'm just in isolation. We just didn't take the chances, and that's all it was. It was nothing else. If we take those chances first half of them, we're 2-3-0 up. This chat's going to be so different. I just feel
exactly.
like
That's the thing.
Good players just played shit.
It's a case of if at Manchester City or Haaland, you're not saying if. Look at that goal he scored for Dortmund, against Dortmund, which was when the athleticism of him to get there. They find a way. I'm not saying that we should get Haaland or someone by the name of Harry Kane. You knew back in the day, one chance, one shot, one goal, done.
Yeah.
That's all that guy needed. Heung-min Son, one shot, one goal. Richarlison, and now it's the case, and it's the frustration is just growing, and it's come to a point. Do you know what? Like you said earlier, I don't know if it was you or Nick. Try something different. Just try something different, and if it doesn't work, you can say, "Do you know what? Told you so. Told you so. This is why I do it this way." There's just got to. And I'm not even meaning from the get-go.
But Brian, okay, Brian, I'm gonna pretend I'm Antonio Conte. I'm third in the league. I'm third in the league. My job is to make sure we get top 4 again, and to get us out the Champions League group. I'm in the top 4, and I'm in the qualification to get out the Champions League group. Why am I changing it?
Because still, it's not working. Look at it. This result
not working.
Right,
no, but it is working. I'm in the top 4. I'm just playing devil's advocate because this is what a lot of fans are saying.
Still, I know. No, I understand that part, but put it this way: with Sporting losing tonight, there was a golden opportunity.
Yeah,
a golden opportunity to make rather than now we've got to wait to beat Frankfurt at home and then the other games. This was a pivotal moment to say, do you know what? They played earlier than us.
But we missed 7 chances.
We know the result.
We created the chances to win, though. We created the chances. Exactly, we just didn't score. So what am I going to do different?
But that's the thing still. If you go with the 2 or the 1 up front, at least there's an option to change it and bring a fresh person on.
He did. He brought on Hill. He brought on Cess. He brought on the players.
But mate, I'm not talking Brian Hill. If anyone turns around and says, "Oh, brilliant, Brian Hill's coming on," he's going to change the game.
We had 7 defenders on the bench: Basuma and Hill.
That's why I'm saying put one of those 3. I don't care who it was, whether it be Kane, who will be rested this season, Son, who has been dropped this season or rested, whatever buzzword you want to use, Richarlison. At least there's a focal point to say, do you know what? I can switch this up and I can go a bit more attacking and hopefully a tiring Frankfurt, like we did against Leicester, a tiring Leicester. I can switch it up and I have those options. We've shown, if we're playing poker, which I don't play, we're showing our hand from minute 1. From minute 1, it's like, here you go, my 3 best strikers are on the pitch. If we're not playing well and none of them take their chances or they're looking sloppy, I can't change it. I can't bring it on. And if I do, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. I can have a right-sided a right-sided side of my team with Emerson Royale and Brian Hill.
Well,
Does that scream Champions League?
I hear what you're saying, but it's those three players that created all those chances for us. Without them, we don't create those chances. The problem is nobody put the ball in the back of the freaking. They didn't, like you said, they didn't even hit the target. Brian, do you know what? I really believe the issue we've got is a lack of quality and squad depth. I said it at the start of the season. I said it last month, and I'm saying it again. We don't have quality and depth. We've got numbers. We just don't have the quality. So when he does want to mix it up, he might be able to shuffle the shape, but the players, they're just... What is really good to come off the bench at the moment other than Bissouma and maybe, well, Skip? That's it. I don't think any other player comes off that bench and makes any difference whatsoever to this squad right now. And I think that's the problem he's got, because he's thinking, shit, at a North London derby on the weekend, I've then got to travel to Germany to play this game. I've now got to fly back and play an informed Brighton. I think we've got squad rotation issues in terms of quality. I think it's killing us.
There we go. So now we've reached to. Now we've reached him. Now we've slowly clawed our way up to the top of the mountain. And if I could kick that man off it, I really would. It is the same shit again.
It is.
It always comes back to this. Like we said, with this money we had, there was extra money with Champions League money coming in. There was extra money with TV revenue. There was extra money with the training ground sponsor. Oh, don't forget, we signed a sponsorship deal with Coke last week, but we still haven't sorted out. We still haven't sorted out the naming rights. Let's just get a side hustle of Coke, and not say to them, "Hey, Coke, I've got this big stadium. Want to invest over here in North America? We have a Pepsi stadium. How about your rivals have got one? Would you be interested?" No. There's extra money there. It's happened again. Don't get me wrong. This transfer window started remarkably, and could have gone on to be so much more. But once again, we've been left short. Once again, we now have to wait till January, and we'll see what happens. And we know January is a very, very tough window, not just for Tottenham, but for everyone. Any targets that we did have or do have, if they have a great World Cup, we know what happens with their price. If we get any injuries, we'll replace the injured. We won't go and get the players we need because we'll spend all the money replacing and we go round again. And then we'll hear, don't worry, next summer is when we'll go big and do something. Oh, no, wait a minute, the next January, we'll go big and do something. If, and I'm only saying this if Conte walks out, or if Conte doesn't renew his contract, or Tottenham part ways with him in whatever way, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, who have won at every single club they go to, except one. Except one.
And do you know what?
That's down to him.
And do you know what, Brian? It'll be the manager that the fans, or that
Correct.
people, the majority will blame again. Manager number 14.
Correct.
I don't call him Conte. I call him manager number 14 to remind everyone how many managers we've blamed under Levy. Everyone should call him manager number 14 because that's what they are. They're just numbers.
Yeah.
They're just numbers.
I'll tell you what, still with Twitter as well. Like I said, I put a tweet out saying what's happened to our club.
TikTok, everything.
Oh, no, but I was like, everyone's accountable. The manager, the chairman, the players, the mentality, direction. I had a couple of the ones that used to be, get the bed sheets out and all that. I'm like, you're so fucking stupid. I just mentioned everyone at the club, not just the chairman. And you're so clever and you're so big behind your fake names that you think it's funny. I do what I do, you do what you do, and all of us that we all do it. Like I said, we all want a successful Tottenham Hotspur. That's what all of us want. That is the hook, line, and sinker. The big debate is how we get there. But then you have these idiots that just try to be clever and think they're funny, whatever. But listen, this is the situation we're at. I can't wait for Brighton so I can add more minutes to the death by 1,000 minutes. Might have to change it to death by 2,000 minutes, 3,000 minutes. Listen, I accept the football is going to be mediocre and boring and not what we want to see. But at least when you have your opportunities, take them. At least I mean, the players shows that they walked out today, and when you heard the Champions League music, they walked out as if it was just like another day.
Yeah.
They should have been walking out, pumped up, ready to appease the fans for a horrific performance on Saturday, and say, do you know what? We ain't going to do this again. We mean business. We've let you down. We've let ourselves down. We're going to give an account of ourselves. And they walked out just as if they were. It might as well have been the Conference League music they were listening to. That's what it may as well have been. There's just no. I can't see the desire. I can't see the commit. I just can't see it.
Yeah.
I can see the desire. I mean, they created like plenty of chances. The actual football to the build up to the chances was brilliant. It really was like, wow, this is good. The problem was we were so. Do you know, if we'd got that one goal, I think, we would have gone. We would have been on fire tonight. But
yeah, but still, that's the thing with us.
It wasn't meant to be tonight. Sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
you're right. No, you're right, Brian. You're right. If you're right.
If how many the big clubs turn up at the big games and get the job done?
The big clubs also have consistency in the managers they have, and they back them.
Correct.
Or they sack and hire, but they spend big on each manager like Chelsea do. So the way we behave is, I think we want the rewards of the top 6 clubs, but we want to do it in a way that none of the top 6 do it. It's almost like this is the blueprint to success. We want that, but we're going to do what you lot don't do.
We're going to do the complete opposite.
And then we're going to sack the manager when we don't get what you do your way. So, I don't know.
No.
I don't know, Brian. I don't know. Brian, do you know what? I really, really felt that when Conte came in, it would be this. It would. I actually, part of me said, okay, maybe this is the final piece of the puzzle now. This is it. This is what it's all about. As it stands, I see the fans getting him out. As it stands now, I see the fans getting him out. However, I think a lot is going to rest on what happens in January, because if we don't get in those 2 or 3 top players, to get us to a progressive position compared to last season, I think our opponents are going to overtake us, man. I think we're going to be overtaken. And then Conte's going to look at it and say, fuck this. Or Levy's going to look at it and say, fuck this.
But don't worry, 15th manager will be the lucky charm, and that's the one that's going to do it. That's the one that's going to lead us to glory. Listen, it's just, we just go round and round in circles. It's just round and round in circles. But listen, what can we say? What can we do?
Listen, whatever happens, mate, whatever happens, we're still third in the league. We're still second in the Champions League group, whether it's by hook, by crook, ugly. I know, I don't disagree with all that. But we are in a good position still. In a position-wise, we're all right. We're all right. We just got to see where the next kind of month or 2 takes us, I think.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we do. But yeah, I just think we do. I just think we need to stay at it. But and go on then, Brian. Finish it off as always.
I've done a great show. Great love to everyone in the chat. Love to you 2 guys. Love to Jakey in the background. And as always, Levy out.
Do you know what? There's one person who's got a slightly funnier outro.
Yeah.
And that's Dan THFC.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, you Spurs, and take Harry Kane off free kicks. every show he finishes with, and take Harry Kane off free kicks.
So we got super chat from Sava.
No, block him.
Block him.
No, block him. He's a forest fire.
Yeah.
Absolute. Yeah.
So he says, lads, that was fun. No shots on target. Surely we have to try something different on Saturday. Basuma and Spence, etc.
What's the tactics got to do with shots on target?
3-5-2, anything. Much love, you ugly gits.
3-4-3 created those chances. This is, do you know what? I said this to you. I said, if we don't win tonight, they're going to come out. They're going to just be, change the tactics, get rid of, listen, Sava is one of the most frustrated fans when it comes to our football. Like, he's proper peeved off about the style of play. And do you know what? I get it. I totally get it, man. I do. As a coach, it's hard. But tonight, that first half was good. It was good, and we should have put the game to bed.
Yeah.
It went into the second half, and you know what? We kind of rued not taking those chances in the first half, and it just filtered out in the end. And when you're then looking to players on the bench to come and change it, who the fuck we got? Who have we got? Do you know what I feel for Savin, man? There's so many fans just like Savin that feel that way, and I actually. The patience isn't there.
No, I know.
Nick, it's not there, mate.
I know. There's no patience. There's no patience. Anyway, we're going to rattle through now. It's nearly midnight. I said I don't want another 3-hour post-match fan show. Jesus, it's heading that way.
We're going to do 10 minutes each, guys.
10 minutes each now. I'm going to start the clock, and we're going to bring on, this is Benjamin Parsons, I believe. Welcome to Silver, and first-time caller to the show. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, yeah. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, good. Well,
were you the Benjamin that was saying lots in the chats just now, saying how do I come on the show?
Yes, yeah, that's me.
Welcome, mate. Welcome. Well done for that.
Right, 10 minutes. Go, Benjamin. Tell us your thoughts.
I just think it's a complete disgrace tonight of how we performed.
Come on, straight in.
It's a complete disgrace.
No, come on, Ben. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I love it. It's brilliant.
Tell us, why was it a disgrace, Ben? Why?
How we performed, why are we still playing the same formation all the time? Why are we not playing 4-2-3-1?
We created 5 or 6 really, really good chances in that formation tonight.
Hello.
Ben, I take it back. I didn't mean to say that. Nah, guys, Ben's been cut off. I'm sure he'll come back on when he does. We'll get into the conversation with him. We'll go on to someone else until Ben rejoins. Ben, if you can hear us, mate, unplug, replug, and get back in.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We've had a super chat from ETH Trash. Tottenham have no pool. History of Tottenham. I don't know.
Thanks for the super chat, mate.
I don't know what that means, but thank you.
Just say thanks for super chat, mate.
And here we go. He's just undone his button.
This man coming on now, put in the best super chat ever. Spursy is to knock back Conte. Spursy is to... Listen, I'm going to let him say it for himself.
Here he is. It's the Joracle.
Bravo, man.
Hey, guys. So, yet another fun evening, right?
Yeah.
I have to say, big up. Really, Stella, I think you've been really hitting every point perfectly.
Yeah,
really.
piss off.
Fuck you, Barry.
Exactly.
Listen, Jory, I just share my opinion. It's just my opinion at the end of the day. And if you
no,
agree,
and it's
good.
It's
nice.
very, very well thought out. And I've been really pissed as well this week seeing Conte out. I didn't dream of that being an option at any point this season, But the thing about the way I'm looking at it right now is kind of like when I looked at when Mourinho was with us. I kind of said if Levy, if we don't back Mourinho, if the players keep doing their thing and go against the manager and so on, at least Mourinho's, if nothing else, he'll be very useful for us, the fans, to see what's going on with our players, with the club, and so on. And he was. We got a lot wiser about the passengers in the squads and so on. And now Conte, it's gone even further, and we've basically dwindled it down. And for me right now, my biggest problem, I'll get to Levy later for sure, but my biggest problem now is because if you just go at it from not the million discussions you've had with other Spurs fans before and all of that, just use logic. Now, what we're seeing at this start of the season, we've seen a couple of good performances, but apart from that, we're seeing Spursiness creep back into the squad. Even though we looked like world beaters at the end of last season, we thought this was over with. I thought it was getting to the end of it, but no, now we're seeing Spursiness creep back into it. And I have to then you have to use logic and say, okay, where's the common denominator? And the common denominator is the board, is the chairman for sure. I'll get to how that affects it. But also, guys, the common denominator are also the last senior players that are left. Their mentality is not good enough. And I'll start right with Kane. What the fuck are you doing being at an NFL game, whatever? I know Levy wants you there. I know whatever publicity, whatever. I can tell you a top star in the Italian league or in Brazil or whatever doesn't give a shit about golf, NFL, anything. He cares about women, he cares about winning, and he cares about food, and that's it. And that's the kind of player we need. You know? And we can't have these hobby players and it's a job attitude in our squad. And when it comes to Son, you need to muscle your way out of Kane's shadow and be your own king. I don't think you should be fighting over the ball, but you shouldn't be subjugating yourself either. You know, you have as much right at anything in this squad as Kane does, and I don't want any kind of little brother attitude anymore from Son. And Lloris, I'm sorry, guys, we cannot have a goalie and a captain on top of that goes into derbies scared of the game, scared of his own performance. You know, as amazing a goalie he can be in the shot stopping department, and he still is. He's gone. He is deteriorating. We have to face that as well. But there's so much we're losing with him as well in terms of what Conte wants to do, other managers wanted to do in terms of building up play and so on. All right, fine. Then at least be the fucking leader of the defense. At least be a real captain. And a real captain is not scared of the London derby. He looks forward to it. And that's not what we saw this weekend at all, you know. So and Dyer, need I go into that? You know, Dyer has shown a lot of improvement, probably the most of all. And Dyer, I would maybe be happy with Dyer as a backup to a Skriniar level center.
Centre back.
Centre back. Thank you, Stel. But we have to now understand this is part of it, and the entitlement that these players have still is now starting to creep back in, and I can see like the fact that even was in the presser with the Conte was a clear message in my mind to the senior players, to the other, or whatever players, all of the players. It's like, be like Even, don't be like you, be like him. He's the example you need to follow. And even though Perisic is aging and whatever, I'm sure that there's never a doubt about his commitment. Now I'm going to get to Levy. If you really think that Levy's doing a great job, who do you think is appointing these managers that keep failing us? Is it the cleaning lady? It's fucking Levy. You have to, that's happened 13 times before, So, I mean, Levy keeps picking the wrong manager for us. So at least that should be something, right? And if you, like, what I feel like, we can't get on players. I just got on a lot of players, but that's our holy cows, which we're not allowed to ever criticize. And believe me, I love all of these guys, and I think they're all world class in their own way, apart from Dyer maybe. But we have to be real with these guys as well. And there is power and entitlement around Kane that's not healthy for the squad. I've known this for a long time. A good voice on this channel was also very aware of it, John, which we don't see anymore. But I would definitely say that Conte, like what I'm hoping now is just Conte just burn the whole ship down if they're not gonna back you, if they're gonna play their games, just drive the players into the dirt, like make them do push-ups till Christmas, and start calling Levy out, because if you're Levy in, but you hate Emerson, for example, who constantly gets ragged on, and he's not doing himself any favors often. You have to then go further than that in your thinking. Why is Emerson playing right back for a club that's supposed to be contending or supposed to be one of the big boys? Why is it not Hakimi or whatever? Why are we talking about these levels of players?
Well,
Where
Jory,
does that responsibility come in?
Brian Daigle said it's a Champions League game, and on the right side we've got Emerson and Brian Hill, and this is a Champions League game.
Exactly. And like you pointed out, we were freaking lucky that they were awful as well, and that's the only reason we're getting away with the draw. But I would say tonight, actually, and this is what pisses me off, and this is my famous call in when I said Son should be benched and his performance was borderline shameful, which I got a lot of love from the fan community for. That call I saw, and it was not only Son, but Son was the worst in that game. I just saw and this is what's not been clicking. It's it's our superstars that are not, they're not living up to the XG. We're used to having superstar players that outplay their XG every game. Now they're never reaching their XG anymore. But the good news is all the crap players are disciplined and consistent. And that's why Conte, by the way, is not changing the tactics, and he's not going to play Spence, and he's not going to play Bissouma until he's sure that they can deliver a level of consistency that is not going to jeopardize his campaign. So that's my 2 cents on it. But I just can't believe how people can constantly get bamboozled like this. I really don't understand how you think a football club works if you're absolutely giving the players crap. I mean, Emerson is just Emerson. We can't blame him for being who he is. He's fine. He's going to be fine in the right club, in the right system, with the right manager, whatever. He'll be whatever he is. So is Dyer, so is whoever. If we're dissatisfied with that, that needs to be down to, okay, maybe the sporting director now, but we know, and that's what we saw this last window, was Paratici's work at the start, and then Levy had to pay, and it's like, oh, this is not so much fun. I'll get involved now. Let's see what we're like, whatever. And that's how the window ended, and we can, I mean, you can see Conte is not happy with the club and the players, and like this whole club, I'm sorry, I don't want to take it any further, but I work a lot with English people, and there is just a certain softness or lack of passion in the kind of English way of doing things, which is brilliant in so many other ways. But when it comes to, like I said, you won't see a top Italian striker go to a golf game or NFL game or whatever. If he's not working on getting to be the best striker in the world, he is having some fun with some lady, or he's eating or sleeping, and that's it. We don't it's just like the London lifestyle is fine for somebody else than the strikers, the top players in my club. So I think the culture is one of non-passion, and it sits in our senior players as well.
Jericho, let me ask you something. That culture that you talk about, that you described, is that personal to Harry Kane, or is that the environment in which he works? The reason I'm asking is, if it's personal, that's on him. If it's the culture of the environment, that's on the owners.
I think it would be gone within a couple of months if he had moved to Man City, for example. I think it's not possible. That's why I say culture. And to be fair, I would say Kane. I've been the most happy with Kane, and also I've also often said Kane is a very selfless player. It's not about, it's not about being a nice guy in the field and to your team, to the rest of the team or something. It's about power and what you expect, your entitlement, not as a asshole, demanding stuff, but we all have our little entitlement. I'm a filmmaker. I expect this and that when I go to work, and so on. We all do that, but sometimes that setup is not working. So that setup must be put up for tweaking, for changing. And Kane is not having any of that. We can see it with the free kicks, for example. Like, nobody's going to tell me anybody but Kane in the club wants Kane to take those free kicks. That's him muscling his way into that. So, but the culture is definitely there, and I've always suspected, and I'm convinced of it, even though they had the falling out, Levy and Kane. They have a little bit, if you don't step over my line, I won't step over your line. Kind of like a agreement there, and it's not healthy for the club, And I think what I was convinced is that Conte would burn all of that down, and Paratici would change that and burn all of that. But and to be honest, I'm still convinced they can do it in a heartbeat. What we need is to give them the leverage. The fans need to constantly be on the brink of dragging Levy out on the streets, basically.
But they're not, Jory. They're not. Yeah. The fans are split now. The fans are Conte in, Conte out. They've split.
Yeah, and that's where we lose our manager. It's just a question of how long.
That's my worry.
And that's my worry, and that's why I'm so upset now, because I don't care about these results. We are, like you said, we're in a good place. We're actually in a brilliant place results-wise. We're going through a really bad period, but we're still hanging in the top of everything. So we couldn't, usually when we lose, we run down the table, and are in big trouble. But this year, because of Conte's discipline and his tactics and his formation, we're keeping we're keeping damage under control, basically, when we're not turning up. So what I'm worried about is that exactly the fact that it's not pretty football, that when our superstar players are not turning up, the fact that we're getting a couple of injuries, and wouldn't you know it, we don't have the squad for what we're doing. Even though everybody thought, a lot of the Levy-inners thought we had a brilliant window and so on, this, and like, props to you, Stal. You called it right away, even in the summer, and I wasn't as clear as you, but I said at the time, I talked to this channel, I think around July or something, start of July, and said, if this is how the window ends, it's not that good, really. But as a start of a window, it's pretty amazing, actually. So continue, and I was actually so naive that I thought it would kind of continue, because it was not big money. It was really good. Yeah, it was really good deal, really good value. Even Levy should be happy with this kind of business, But no, it didn't happen.
Jory,
so the press, the thing. I just want to finish. Now it's really important that the fans get on Levy, start the Levy out train, please, so we can get some help for Conte in January, because we need it. We need it bad. So yeah. Sorry, Stel, go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember in the summer.
I'm just gonna leave you to it. No?
Yeah, right, see you later. Thanks for coming. No, I remember in the summer there was I won't mention this person's name because he's a high-profile journalist who's now blocked me, and I said to him, "Why do you keep promoting Emerson? You said that he's come from the Barca Academy, And because of that, he must have something special about him. He's only 21, 22, whatever. He will come good. You're wrong to demonize players. And my response to him was, I cannot believe you are a sports journalist and you have the audacity to say that about Emerson when you can't see where he's lacking at this level. At this level. Why do you think Barca let him go? And he blocked me. And do you know what?
Yeah.
I wish he didn't block me, because I'm going to say to him, do you want to explain that to me again? But I don't know. Listen, Jory, I have one question for you. I have one question for you, because it's a question that I've asked a few people over the past month, really. Well, previous month. Why is Conte still here? Why do you think he's still here?
Well, it's a mixed bag. I think he probably he had his problems at Juventus. So I don't think he's like dying to go back there at all. And I think football's changing, and I think it's slowly the powers that be are trying to make it into the next NBA or some shit like that. And Conte is not invited to that party. He's a corporate liability everywhere. So they don't want him. Like the very corporate clubs, and like in Europe, that's how it's going very much. And I mean in the Premier League as well. But so I don't think there's many clubs that really would want him, even though there's a ton of clubs that should get on their knees and thank God for getting him. But I think I think you need an old school. But I mean, that's my biggest praise I can say to Levy is that he had. I mean, yeah, praise. It was either that or commercial suicide with the fans. I thought at the time, but for him to have appointed Conte, that's probably the best thing he's done for this club. I mean, and I'm not taking away. I will always give the Levy in as that. Yes, Levy built this brand and built this club, the front end, the retail, and all of that. And I'm not unhappy about it, even though it means skinning the fans as much as possible. There is actually some value, and you of course need to take care of that side of business if you want to be a contender for sure. But okay, that side of the business is very well taken care of. Can we now take care of the football side of the business and do it the right way, the way you're supposed to do it? But yeah, I think Conte will just go and not have a job and at some point, But I think if there was an obvious job, he would be talking to him by now and probably before, So yeah, that's really my only explanation. But I also think like he's tenacious and he doesn't want the wrong things to have the last word and stuff like that, So I think he'll hang in there this season, I'm sure. I think maybe it could blow up in January. Maybe that's the only thing. But other than that, I think he'll hang in there and will progress. Will be a better club for sure. But is it enough for Conte? I don't know. And is it just like a stay of execution and eventually everybody will know that Levy's not going to do it and we're not going to compete. Like for me, I'm at the point now that I don't think we're going to win any big honor. I've known for a long time really that we can't really compete on top level with Levy and that board. That's not going to happen in my view. They will always manage to fuck it up. I kind of was on the fence that Conte was a bigger factor than their fuck up factor, but I don't think that anymore. I also kind of feel like if we don't transition from Hugo to a new goalie next season, we're in big trouble as well.
You said that.
I don't think
You asked it.
Yeah.
Jory,
So, yeah.
Always
Yes.
a great call. Always a great call
Yes,
on We Are Tottenham TV.
Great to talk to you. I wish there was better. But I would also say to all the fans, don't freak out. There's still result-wise, we're fine. That's not what it's about. It's about the freaking internals and the politics of this club. That's getting into the business of playing football, you know.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Jory. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big up, Jory. Always speaking sense.
All
Lot of
right.
love for you in the comments as well, mate. Have a good rest of your day. Come on, you
Take
Spurs.
care. Great show, guys. Great show. Take care.
Cheers,
See you
Jory.
later, Jory.
Big
And
up.
that was the Jory call.
We got a couple of super chats. Well, we
Okay.
got one welcome to Silver, DJ Tivy. And we have another super chat from Sava. Levy out, Levy out, Levy out, get Levy out. I wish Conte had publicly called him out for not backing him with better players.
I agree.
Levy out.
I agree.
Stell out, Barry out, Levy
I
out.
agree.
Out,
I
out,
agree.
out, Forest fire.
Out, Forest Fire.
Out, Forest fire.
Big up to Sava for the super chats as well, man.
Yeah.
Big up to Sava for the super chats.
Have we got one more in the back, Jake? Or? That's it.
Is
We're done.
Ben not back? Guys, that was the post-match fan show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Make sure you follow Shelfside Spurs. Make sure you follow Tottenham Away. Make sure you follow We Are Tottenham TV as well. On that note, we will, Ben and Tim will be back with you the next couple of days. I think tomorrow. Or they're flying back tomorrow. Probably Thursday and Friday. So check it out. And as always, come on, you Spurs.